Welcome to Cosmic Imprint, a podcast bringing you weekly goodness as the home of lightworkers, new paradigm leaders, sensitive souls, magical beings, spiritual seekers and both spiritual CEOs alike, who are ready to live life in alignment with your own soul's truth and who are here to buck the trends, color outside the lines, thriving in this lifetime's incarnation. Join me each week for conversations about all things human design, weaving my own soul magic where I'll share my intuitive gifts, love of all things metaphysical, manifestation, mindset, fifth dimension, spirit guides, light beings, and beyond. Let's explore your cosmic imprint together. Oh, hello, my beautiful earthling. Thank you so much for being here for a brand new episode of Cosmic Imprint. It has been a while since I last sat down in front of my microphone, so it all feels a little bit new and unfamiliar, but at the same time, this has been a moment that I've been seriously fucking looking forward to and just had to trust in divine timing. 100% past versions of me would have come at this from an energy of forcing or hustling to make it happen, you know, saying all sorts of stories to myself around, oh, it's been weeks since you last posted an episode. You need to get onto a schedule. You need to make it happen. Just record something. You need to have something coming out every week. But you know me, that's not how I roll anymore. And this timing feels so right. And I also know that by recording this episode with intention, with my energy in the right place, with the mindset of showing up and sharing something that I know will add value rather than just adding noise for the sake of adding noise, right? Then I always trust that whatever I create from that space will go a million times fucking further and empower so many more people when it comes from that highest vibrational place within me, right? So some of you may or may not know that the past few months hiatus that Cosmic Imprint has been on, there's been a lot going on. If you follow me on social media, you'll have kind of know where I've been at over the past few months. So unfortunately, our family suffered a devastating fire at our beautiful homestead, our retreat center that we run as a family. Because, again, for those of you who've been around for a long time, you'll know that a big portion of what I do in my soul work is within our family business, as well as the work that you might know me from in terms of human design and, you know, my cosmic imprint work and things like that. So, you know, there's a few different layers and hats being worn and all of that good stuff. But yeah, we sadly suffered a devastating fire. We were all okay. We weren't in the building at the time the fire happened, but we were right there and unfortunately had to go through that, you know, very traumatic experience of watching it burn to the ground in front of our eyes, and there was nothing that anyone could do. And, you know, we had an enormous amount of support from local volunteers and fire crews and Red Cross. And, you know, there was, I don't even know, I think nearly 100 fire response, you know, incredible people there on the night of the fire. Just containing it, making sure it didn't spread any further, because the property is surrounded by beautiful native bush, and, you know, there are not close by, but there are other, you know, properties and farms and things quite close to where Tekararoa was located. And so they did a fantastic job of making sure that it didn't spread, it didn't go beyond the immediate property. So it's been a big few months, really. My parents became homeless overnight, lost, you know, nearly everything. They were left with the clothes they were standing in at the time of the fire. So they've been living with us. And, you know, we are just so grateful that we've all come out of it physically absolutely fine. You know, there was no damage to anyone, and there was no risk to anyone. And that's all you can ask for, really, because at the end of the day, things are replaceable. Human life isn't. So, there's been emotional layers to go through. The property was a historic homestead. It had been built in 1913 and was in immaculate condition as a historical building. We'd been, my parents have been the custodians of it, have owned it for over 30 years and have poured, so much blood, sweat and tears into taking care of it, looking after it, renovating, making sure it was, in sparkling and gleaming condition. So it's like losing a piece of art, I think is the best way I can put it into words. It wasn't really a house. It wasn't really a home as per se. My parents did live there. And I've lived there, at many points in my life. But it was more than that. And it was a place that had been used for decades, the 70 plus years before my parents had even come to be the custodians of it. It had been used as, a place of rest and respite and healing. And, it's for a very, very long time been known as a very tranquil, beautiful, soul nourishing place. And that's why, we had loved the opportunity we'd had to share it and to be evolving into the future plans that we had, with carrying on that essence of what it was. So as I say, it's been a very sort of strange, emotional few months since then. But we as I say, we have so much to be grateful for and so much to be thankful for. And at the end of the day, you have to continue to look to the positives and look to take the obstacle and turn it around and choose the new perspective. And some of you who are listening in might have come along to last week. I hosted a free online women's retreat called Thrive. That was a virtual event, and we had 200 women come and take part in that, with some 20 incredible women who spoke from their hearts, who shared their stories as soulpreneurs, as light workers, as healers, as coaches of money mindset, wild, wealthy women. It was just an incredible, over 2 days, opportunity to come together and to share space and to learn and to grow and to support each other. And I will put a link to that in this episode, because there might be some of you who perhaps, didn't know that it was on, because obviously I haven't been doing the podcast, so I hadn't been sharing in this space about it. And everything's there available to watch anytime on replay. So I'll put the link to that Facebook group for Thrive if you want to come along and watch some of those incredible sessions and speakers on replay. We had people sharing their stories as, soulpreneurs and women, mums, creatives, business owners. We had an incredible guided breathwork experience. We had some NLP. We had, guided meditations. I did sound bath meditations in the mornings. And so, yeah, it was a really beautiful healing opportunity to say, you know what, fuck it. Like, life gave us some fucking lemons, let's make lemonade and share it around. And I just feel so grateful that I've had the opportunity to share that experience, and that will continue on in a virtual format. So that's been the past few months in Roseland, and as I say, over that process of not forcing myself or slipping back into those old conditionings and mindsets around, knowing that something like this space, with Cosmic Imprint, that I hadn't been in any kind of energetic realm to be able to share anything here that as I say, I could have forced myself to, but it didn't feel right. And I didn't feel energetically nourished or filled at my end to be able to then overflow and share the value that I know waiting for the right timing, like right now, has provided, right? So over those months, I discovered, more things about myself that I laugh at now, because these are the kind of things that I share with my clients all the time. When I'm giving, the opportunity to share that knowledge and clarity on people's human design, through my Soulpreneur Blueprint readings and, all of this work that I do with other people all the time that I talked to them about, but it hadn't quite clicked for myself, right? So I'm sharing this while also laughing at myself that it didn't click for me, yet I have probably given this permission slip to countless numbers of other people. And that was the freedom to give myself permission to show up imperfectly, right? And to no longer feel constrained by a regular schedule that I had held myself to in the first year of the podcast. And that was a big thing, in the past few months, that in those, weeks when I would be kind of in the background beating myself up that I hadn't recorded a new podcast episode and things like that. And then just having to remind myself and kind of have that chuckle to myself of going, this is okay. It's better to show up imperfectly perfect and be in total alignment and in divine timing and all of those things, rather than forcing myself to fit some schedule that I had set for myself, nearly 2 years ago, right? And we evolve and we grow. So, and along those 2 years, right, I've done everything from trialing, recording weekly content, that as the podcast was coming out every week, I was recording episodes. And to be honest, that hasn't been aligned for me energetically. However, when I'm in the space of being able to batch episodes or record several interviews over the space of a few weeks and, create that new podcast content from that energetic space of allowing the flexibility, allowing the permission to not be held to a rigid structure or routine, all of that then magically aligns, I've found. So it's that permission slip to create, right? To still do the damn fucking thing, but do it in an imperfectly perfect way and still actually do it, rather than go, it's not perfect, so I'm not going to do anything, right? And I know that something I guess I wanted to share that's been my experience of once I gave myself that kind of good talking to and realized that myself, I realized I had this incredible catalog of episodes that are still working so hard for me behind the scenes, which is like the ultimate projector efficiency, right? And they're reaching new people every single day. And I still get messages from incredible souls who are listening to those episodes long after they've been recorded and posted for the first time, that have been sharing how transformational that podcast episode has been for them, right? This is like over a year after I've recorded some of these episodes. And honestly, I just wanted to share that because I think sometimes we forget how our work can be, can energetically live on for a really long time when we create from this space of intention, when we create something that is more than just a, feeding into the Instagram stories world of it's 24 hours and then it disappears, right? When we actually can set ourselves that sort of, I guess, allowance to share in a way that has got intention and heart and soul behind it. And yes, there is a space for the quick, snappy 24-hour and it's gone 20 seconds TikTok-y type universe that is going on, that's very fast-paced, that's very noisy, that's very highly creative and spontaneous and creates delight and engagement and excitement, right? There is such a need for that. But at the same time, I want to share with you that, there is also still the realm of creating something that is, say, doesn't necessarily have to be longer form, but that can be something like a podcast or a blog post or a YouTube video or a tutorial, that lives on long after you create it, right? And that's something that, I probably have not realized until this moment of taking such a long pause and a step away, because I needed to, I had to nourish myself. And yeah, as I say, just still getting emails and messages and DMs from incredible souls all over the world who are listening, who are discovering the podcast or discovering a specific episode or discovering a particular interview with someone, seeking out that nourishment for their own design and coming across the incredible other soulpreneurs and souls that I've interviewed. And yeah, it's just been so amazing to hear how impactful and how transformational and how that momentary, I guess, experience for me lives on and on and on and on and has that immeasurable, it goes into the esoteric, it's unquantifiable, right? The impact that something can have when it does come from that space of going, you know what, I'm going to show up and do this anyway. And it doesn't have to be on a strict schedule. It doesn't have to be done in accordance to the way some other, internet guru has told you that it has to be done in this way. So honestly, I just really have to send my deepest gratitude to you for listening, for being here, for no matter where you are, where you're listening to this episode, even when you are listening to this episode into the future, I just have to send you my deepest undefined heart chakra thank yous, my open solar plexus emotional, roller coaster that I've been on lately. And just to really say such a huge thank you, to send you such a big virtual hug, and just that I'm so honored and grateful to have you here in this space and to be part of this journey with Cosmic Imprint with me. And for those of you who are part of the Cosmic Imprint Facebook group community, if you're not already, there's always a link in the show notes to come and join, that I wanted to share that, the clarity that I've gained from also taking this step away has been really immeasurable for me, because it's allowed me to return to that intention and to return to, I guess, the center of who I am, what I'm here to do, my soul work, and to understand that, in the past with this podcast, when it used to be called Lotus Life, and, all of that journey that I've been on, that there's been in the past when I've felt that I needed to provide human design across the board, right? That I needed to share about human design for everyone. So whether that was being, an entrepreneur, whether that was being a parent, whether that was being, in a relationship, understanding those dynamics. So it's been really empowering for me as well to take that pause and to take that time to really keep refining down and understanding my soul journey with greater clarity, right? And that's been a big thing that I guess I've been, in my morning meditations and my chats with my guides and all of those things that have been going on during this time, because that's been huge for me to maintain those practices that nourish me, right? Every morning, having my morning routine, having my morning rituals, having my time for divine connection, and, all of that has allowed me to have that clarity to understand that, yes, I do need to allow myself the clarity, allow myself to kind of continue to step forward into that role, that soul purpose, that thing that I'm here to be on as part of my journey, and to continue to kind of allow myself to niche, right? Not to have to be something to everyone, not to have to provide human design for every single person. And that was so clear to me when I look back on, who I've been in connection with and who I've worked with and the clients that I've had and everything, that has been probably the thing that's been there all along for me to enjoy and to have the gratitude of being able to share with others, that it's always come from that place of empowering soulpreneurs. It's come from that place of empowering business owners. It's come from that connection with other incredible souls who are, even if they're not necessarily right now running their own business, that they are in that transitory phase where they've, already made the decision that this is where they're going, that they know that their path is taking them down that road of, maybe that's the clarity they're needing, is to help understand, from all the noise, right? Because we always know within ourselves where we're going. It's just clearing away the clutter and the noise to get that clarity. And that's the beautiful thing that, the work that I've been blessed to be able to do and to share and to embody and to empower others with. So as I say, for those of you who are already in the Cosmic Imprint community, you'll have seen that I, posted about this just recently, saying like, hey, I had to have that real dark night of the soul to go, for example, running a Facebook community, is this even aligned for me anymore? Because, with my design as a 6/2 and a mental projector, I only have my ajna and my throat chakra defined. Everything else is either undefined or open. So energetically for me, I'm in the 2%, right? I'm in that essence of going, hey, I don't have the consistent energy to show up in a Facebook group every single day, to be that kind of energetic train driving something forward. But I do have the energetic expression to kind of like ninja skills style, like kind of hop in and do some stuff and then hop back out again. And that's the community that I am so grateful for. Those of you who are listening in who are part of that, and those of you who in the future will become part of that, because we've been able to come together and connect with that clarity right from the start. And it was something that, I deeply felt that I needed to sort of just come in and share and say, look, I have had that dark night of the soul where I've gone, am I even running things in true alignment for me? Like, should I even be trying to run, say, a Facebook community when I know energetically I'm showing up in a way that is vastly different from like 99% of the world around me in terms of other soulpreneurs and, incredible leaders and, women who are, just absolutely like killing the game in terms of their businesses and their growth and their expansion. And I have those moments where I go, am I delivering enough? Am I sharing enough? Am I providing enough value? All of the question marks that undefined crown chakra comes in and goes like, here's my list of questions and doubts that I have today. And so, yeah, it was beautiful to be able to, I guess, have the self-assurance and the confidence and the clarity on myself come through in that pause, in that process of taking some time away, and to just show up and share with honesty. And that's what I thought with this episode I really wanted to do, just to sort of say, hey, this is the real life. This is the real deal. This is what's, going on for me, in case you aren't so familiar with, who I am, what I'm about, where I've been, all of those things. So, with that all said, I'm really excited to still continue to keep sharing and just to continue to keep nourishing and empowering others. And as I say, just so grateful for you being here and for listening in and for all the connections that we have, that go beyond recording these episodes. I value them all so much. And I also am so grateful for those of you who've had the patience with me when I haven't necessarily been able to come back and reply to comments or, queries or questions as what's the word? Rapidly, quickly, whatever it is, the shoulds that I placed on myself of this is how fast you should be returning to your community after somebody has posted something. So there's been, as I say, there's been a lot of those moments and kind of self-talking tos behind the scenes. And this is really just an episode that I wanted to come and share with that honesty and that, heart on my sleeve, which is sometimes really hard as a 6'2" profile to do, because you've got that self-imposed expectation that, well, I should do everything perfectly, and anything less than perfect is a disaster. And so there's a lot of shadow work around that for me personally that I've worked my way through, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't crop back up every now and then, but it's having that confidence in myself to go, actually, you know what, it's okay to show up imperfectly and still have an incredible, thriving, successful, soul purpose, soulpreneur business. So I close with that. I thank you so much for being here, and I am so excited for the next coming months, as we continue on towards the future together. I send you so much love, and I will see you on the next episode. Shine on, Earthling.